All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Sunday night football. We got the Eagles, who are undefeated, taking on the Cowboys, who are 4-1. It's going to be a good game. We got 4 picks on this game. We got 1 spread pick and then 3 player props that I'm very excited to share with you guys. But before we do that, let's take a peek at last week. Last week, Sunday night football between the Ravens and the Bengals. We cleaned up, going 3-0 in our plays, 4-0 with our lean included, but obviously the lean doesn't count towards our record. But Tyler Boyd, longest reception, over 17.5 yards. Cash it. I will say I was a little sweaty. I think the longest reception he had was 18 yards, so we just hit that over, but it's a win nonetheless. We had Lamar Jackson, longest run over 16.5, and then Hayden Hurst, who is becoming an MVP on this channel, a Hall of Famer. Hayden Hurst, over 2.5 receptions, hammered that one, and it cashed. And then we had the Bengals lean there as well. They lose the game, but they do cover. Guys, we're looking to bring that momentum into this week, and we got a little bit of action on this game, so I'm excited to share it with you. But before we do that, got to talk to you about Sportsline. Sportsline is one of the best places to start your sports betting research. 10,000 simulations for each game, so you don't have to go to the board and say, okay, where do I start? What's the edge? No, Sportsline kind of already does that for you. You can look at projected scores, projected outcomes, and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you have a direction to go in. Sportsline does an amazing job at that. Again, 10,000 simulations for each game. They have Vegas experts writing their picks and rationale for their picks on the site as well, and then they have box score projections under the DFS section. So if you're looking at it for player props like we do at the second half of this video, Sportsline is an amazing place for that as well. So make sure to use that link in the description, guys. Sportsline, you can get 3 months, a quarter of the year, 3 months for $4.99. It's usually a $25 value, but you can get it for $4.99 with our link in the description. Sportsline's been super generous to the Guy Boston community with that deal, so definitely go check it out. Less than $5 for 3 months. That link is in the description. What do you say we jump into some plays here? Again, we got the Eagles 6.5-point favorites over the Cowboys here. Eagles are at home. The total's 42 points right now, and you know what? I might be crazy for doing this one, but my initial gut reaction is to go with the boys in this one. Now, I did buy the half point to get it up to 7. I think that's obviously a turning point number, so a lot of value there for me. We only knocked the juice down to about -125, so yeah, you have to pay the vig a little bit, but I do think that that half point is worth it. And let me tell you why I think this game is going to go the way that I think it's going to go. It's a divisional matchup. If you were to strip out the Eagles and the Cowboys or anything you know about them, you know, Jalen Hurts playing like an MVP, all that stuff, strip out any factors in this game for 1 second. You have a 5-0 team and a 4-1 team that are in the same division playing on Sunday night football. That's a situation you would take a +7 underdog in this one. If you didn't have the line, you'd probably say, 5-0, 4-1, Sunday night football, same division. This is probably a 2.5 to 3.5 point spread game, right? No, you're getting 7 points here with the Cowboys. So I think there's a lot of value, and I think that they at least keep this game to, 3, 4, 5 points. I think the Eagles are way better. Do not get me wrong. This Eagles team, like, when's the Super Bowl, right? Like, they're right there. In fact, I'm wearing Eagle green right now. Like, this Eagles team is phenomenal. But I wouldn't count out the Cowboys to keep this game close. So I do like +7 here. I think that they can keep it to within a touchdown game. I hope we have a little bit of momentum coming off of last Sunday night football and we're seeing the board clear, because this game seems a little bit closer than a touchdown game to me. But I just want to make sure you guys know I'm not like knocking the Eagles. This isn't really knocking the Eagles. This is me sort of backing a Cowboys team that I think is a lot better than people think. Maybe Zeke gets it going. Tony Pollard, the run game, because that's maybe the only weakness on the Philadelphia Eagles defense side is the run. Their DVOA, I think they're ranked like 9th or something, or 9th worst, 20th or something like that, whatever it is. I found it wasn't that big of a stat or detail, but the only sort of like flaw in their defense could be that that run game. So maybe Zeke has a big game, maybe Pollard gets going as well and can keep this game close. But I do think there's a lot of value in the Cowboys +7 here. First player prop we have Dallas Goedert over 19.5 yards for his longest reception. Now, he's hit this in every single game, and it is a high number. I get that. But again, he's hit in every single game. 5 for 5 here. And one thing that I saw, and it almost turned me off of this, but then I dug deep, looked at some more stats, and did some more research, and then I like it even more. Dallas Goedert barely at all, like, is barely catching air yard balls. And what I mean by that, I don't think I said that correctly, but his air yard rate, or his conversion of how many air yards he's getting per actual yard and whatnot, Dallas Goedert barely goes down the field. They do not target him downfield. This is a run and catch type of player that we're looking at here. In fact, his average depth of target is around, I got it up in front of me somewhere, his average depth of target is around, it's not great. Average depth of target is right around 6 yards. So we're looking at a guy that's catching the ball at the 4, 5, 6 yard mark, right? And he's got to take it 15 more yards. Well, I think he can do that because he's second in the league when it comes to yards after catch, only 7 yards behind Austin Eckler, who's obviously an amazing run after catch guy. So Dallas Goedert's a guy that's going to catch the ball, break a couple tackles, and break it downfield here. He's the #1 tight end in terms of yards after catch as well. And then another stat I found, which is a good one. I don't know if it's pronounced Racker or Racer. It's RACR, which is the receiver air conversion ratio. His is a 3.4 or 3.5, which means every 1 yard he's getting of reception, or every 1 yard of his air yards that he's getting, which is how far the ball is actually traveling in the air, he's making 3.5, closer to 4 yards out of that 1 yard. So if he catches a ball that went in the air 1 yard, it turns into a 4-yard reception. So technically speaking, if he gets his typical 5, 6 yard dump off, we're looking at a 20 to 24 yard reception. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If not, ask me in the comments and I'll explain it better. But what I'm saying is Dallas Goedert gets the ball, catches it, and turns it into about 3 times the amount of yards that ball actually traveled in the air, which is good. We don't need him to be targeted downfield. We need him to get his targets, get his receptions, and bully his way down the field for a 20-yard longest reception. So jump through some hoops and ladders there. I understand if that was confusing, but just know a lot of time went into this pick, and I do like it. Another pick on the Eagles here, but we're going the opposite. Under in terms of long reception for Quez Watkins. Now, this one seems like a slam dunk to me. I'm seeing this, and I'm going, what the heck? Why is his longest reception 11.5 yards? His total yardage for the game is 13.5. So immediately, like, lights going off, I'm like, there's absolute value here. His total right now, again, 13.5 yards for the total yardage. How is his under gonna be 11.5 yards for his longest reception? Why? Well, he's only averaging 1.6 targets per game. Huh? He's only had 1 good game, week 2. And if you strip out that week in terms of how far down the field he's being targeted, his average depth of target, it's like 5 yards. 5 yards. So that week 2 is skewing everything, making the data look like this guy does catch a deep ball, because he did have 2 receptions and 1 really, really long one. I think it was like 55 yards in week 2 against Minnesota. No, he barely gets anything. He's playing 60% or less of the snaps, getting 1.6 targets a game. 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago, he had 1 target, dropped them both. Quez Watkins is not in this game plan totally, and the fact that we're getting this 11.5 yard number here when his total is 13.5 yards for all of his yards in the game, I think is some serious value. The one thing I will say, it only takes 1 pass to break this one up, right? So it's a little risky, but I do think that this is absolutely a valuable play when you think about the amount of the little, I guess the lack thereof of volume for him playing and getting the targets and being incorporated into the offense. Massive, massive, massive chance for us to hit this one in the under in this game. And then the last pick we have is pretty simple. Zeke, anytime touchdown. He is still one of the more talented running backs in the league, and you're getting plus 170 odds here for him to score. I just think that there's a lot of value there. Nothing would show he hasn't scored in a few weeks, right? Nothing would tell you that he is on fire, he's due, or he's gonna score. No, he hasn't looked like himself totally, but this is some serious value. Get the Cowboys on the goal line, let Zeke lower his shoulder, and we're cashing plus 170 here. I think that there's going to be a few touchdowns in this game. Hopefully Zeke is going to be one of them. But that is all I have for you guys in today's video. Hopefully you guys do enjoy and didn't just absolutely click off the video with all that Dallas Goedert talk, because it was confusing. I'll give you that. But, you know, the proof's in the pudding. I've been saying that in a few videos recently, but the proof is in the pudding. I was stirring up that pudding and looking what's going on there. So that's all I got for you guys, but I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.